so excited to have Michael LaFido here. Now, Michael and I met, this was an interesting story, at an event. He was speaking on stage, and I'm pretty sure I stalked you afterwards because what you were talking about was like right up my alley. It was about how to increase your price point. And you gave some really tactical advice that has stuck with me over the years. So I'm so excited to introduce you to our audience. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's an honor. I love what you're doing as well, and especially with the young ones, you're like the Energizer Bunny. You know, you just have so much energy and positive spirit. So love what you're doing as well, Keri.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So why don't you just share a little bit about how you've managed to dominate the luxury space, and for people who have never met you before, a little bit about your business in the luxury space.
Yeah, so the Cliff Note version for me is, I was selling average price properties, and so in 2011-12, really started focusing on high-end and luxury. And so I tell agents all the time, the homes that you represent as 2020 approaches, and we look back 2019, look at all the sales you represented, whether it be buy side or list side. And chances are 80% of those sales fall into the four major buckets, I call them, price point buckets. You have entry level or starter homes for your given market. You have average priced homes for your given market. You have high-end homes for your given market, which we define at our institution as 2 times the average sale price. So if the average sale price is $250 for your given market, high-end homes would be $500 and above. And then luxury is what we define as 3 times the average sale price for your given market. So it's all relative. I know a lot of major brands, Keri, define luxury as $1 million and above. But that's not the case all over in the Silicon Valley. $1 million won't get you anything. And I did one of these trainings with Matt Fagioli, Explode conference in Indiana, and it was in a town called Kokomo, Indiana, and the average sale price was $80,000. And so you're not going to find $1 million properties there, but 80 times 3, you're going to find a lot of 240, 250 to 400. So I had an agent come up to me and say, I'm so glad I attended. I was hesitant because in my mind, I didn't think we had luxury because most brands define it as $1 million and above, and that's not the case. So we teach agents to diversify their portfolio just like a financial advisor would. So if what's paying the bills is starter homes and average price homes, great, continue to do that. But go after some of the high-end and luxury business in your market as well.
Absolutely. So for an agent that's listening and they're like, okay, Michael, I want to do that. What would your advice be about how they can break into that market?
Well, I'm a big believer that if agents don't have the knowledge, they don't have the confidence. If you don't have the confidence, you're not going to step out of your comfort zone. So I tell agents, grow your knowledge and your confidence will grow. So what are some ways that agents can grow their knowledge when it comes to high-end and luxury? Well, there's so many great podcasts out there. There's great books and resources out there. There's some great free white papers out there each year. A lot of these major brands, Coldwell Banker releases great reports, Keller Williams, you name it. There's stuff out there, so you can help grow your knowledge at a 10,000-foot view. And then at the local level, agents could go to broker opens for some of the high-end and luxury, and many times they could talk to the agent ahead of time and ask, hey, would you mind to take some photos or maybe do a Facebook Live? And of course, give credit to the listing agent. Don't mislead or whatever that it's your listing. But these are some ways that you can help grow your confidence and help position yourself. Work other people's open houses for their high-end and luxury properties is I think, low-hanging fruit as well.
Makes sense. I just had, when you were talking, I thought, it's interesting. If agents looking for buyers started just deciding, if they were trying to break into luxury, if they decided to go live and interview the listing agent in a really high-end luxury property, people like myself, I have a big audience. I would love, if anyone's sitting out there saying, I don't think I'd love to do luxury, bullshit. I think you're absolutely full of crap. I think you lack the confidence. There's something in your mind that's broken if you don't think you deserve to do it. Yeah. So if you don't have those listings yet, but you have a big audience, the people who are buying those luxury homes, or the person who bought the last, as Michael would define it, the third category, right? They bought that and then they decide they want to go a step higher because their life situation changes, their confidence changes in their financial situation, something, right? So if you already have those people in your audience, it makes sense that that listing agent would want to get in front of your audience as well. Yeah. So why wouldn't you then interview them in the listing, go live, talk to them about the home, why it's unique, their seller's going to be happy, your buyers are going to perceive that you have the luxury listings. It's a win-win.
It really is, and you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of agents have what we call limiting beliefs or excuses in their mind, right? And so I don't come from wealth. I don't live in this type of price point. I don't drive a certain car. I'm with a certain brand that isn't known for luxury. Fill in the blank, fill in the blank. Those, I believe, are all false. And so many agents have limiting beliefs, and so we help break down those barriers so they do step out of their comfort zone. I'm based in the Chicagoland market, and I have the mentality, have car, will travel. I mean, I'll take a listing. I have a listing that's a winery. I didn't even know we had wineries in Illinois. It's $6 million. They produce 60,000 bottles of wine a year, and it was a referral from an agent in Florida. And so I believe our systems work and all price points and all over the country. And of course, I got to do my due diligence on the local market and trends and schools and all that. But there's so much out there. And so that's really one of the things that we try to help agents understand. So growing their knowledge, growing their database, growing their sphere of high net worth individuals are all ways that you can increase your average sale price.
Absolutely. So if they're working, let's imagine there's an agent out there who's listening to this that's like, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. I have the limiting beliefs that Michael just said. And you're talking to a mother of three that drives a Honda minivan. Okay. So I'm just telling you guys, if you're saying, oh gosh, what he's saying is me, I will take my minivan to any listing and feel confident. So if they're trying to develop that confidence, what do you think will help them on their journey to feeling more confident?
I believe it's just knowledge, knowing your local market, knowing your personal unique value proposition. Most agents don't have a UVP, a unique value proposition. Why should a seller hire you versus the guy across the hallway? And so many agents understand what makes their brand different. But if you're RE/MAX, you need to not only know the ins and outs of RE/MAX or Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker, it doesn't matter who, but you also need to know what makes you different. When I launched my certification 3.5 years ago, it was to a RE/MAX office down in Dallas. I had an agent come up to me during the break and be like, hey, I just got this listing during the break. And I was up against another agent in this class. And the owner said, that agent did a great job selling RE/MAX, but you not only sold RE/MAX, but you also sold what made you as an agent different and unique. So that's one thing. The other thing too, Keri, is just like Theodore Roosevelt once says, nobody cares how much you know until they know you care. In today's day and age of fake news and people not being transparent and authentic, be yourself, be likable, do your due diligence on them. Try to figure out if there's some similarities that you guys have. Oh, your husband went to University of Texas and so did hers, or you drive a Harley and they drive a Harley. Try to figure out some common ground, be authentic, don't be fake. And that's the first step, because somebody would rather hire somebody that's less skilled but likable versus someone that's more skilled that's not likable or a jerk, right? So that's really important to understand that.
Well, and knowing that they're people, right? Sometimes I feel like when you're interviewing with somebody who is in a totally different income bracket than you are, you start psyching yourself out. You could go and connect with someone in the same price point that you work with all day long, and then agents go into a different price point and there's insecurity, and so they're not their authentic self, and then they're not as likable because they're trying to be somebody they're not, right?
Yeah.
So if you go in and be yourself, that's half the battle. An example of a unique selling proposition, can you give a couple examples of how you differentiate yourself when you're in those high-end appointments?
Yeah, so for me, and I'm looking around, I don't see one here, but I do these amazing lifestyle videos, right? So I'll bring in actors, cars. One video I brought in $2.5 million worth of vehicles. And so we do amazing videos and we do amazing events at our properties. So I'm marketing the property that Architectural Digest named the most beautiful home for sale in Illinois. It's $9.5 million. It was the main backdrop for the TV show Empire that was on Fox for 6 years. Unfortunately, Jesse Smollett put it in the news for some negative light this year. But this property is amazing, and we had an event at it in October where we had 40 exotic cars there. There were 2 drivers in each car. It was kind of a car club. So there's over $10 million worth of vehicles. And again, we documented. We had some drone footage, some class photos. We did some things. And again, if you're looking to do the same things as everybody else, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're interviewing the wrong person. And so, that's basically what we talk about, being creative outside the box. So this town that this home is in Barrington Hills. In the last 12 months, there's been 5 sales above $2 million, 5, and there are currently over 30 on the market. That's 6 years of inventory. 6 years of when there's more than 7 months of inventory, that's called a buyer's market. There's 6 years of inventory. So you can't do the same things as everybody else. We have more millionaires leaving Chicago than any major city, so we're right up there with the worst states, right? Jersey, New York, people are getting out because of high taxes and corruption. Salt taxes, state and local tax. Salt is really hurting us here in Illinois. And so, taking these high-end and luxury listings, it's a challenge. You have to be creative. You got to be hungry. You can't do the same things as everybody else. And that's what we teach in our certification. And so anyways.
I think that that's a really good example. Actually, I would love to share one of your videos with the group after we're done. I'll get one for you as an example, and then you guys can take a look, because his videos are very impressive, extremely impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, for the winery, for example, we're selling this winery I mentioned, and so we had 2 videos made. We had, the traditional 3 to 4 minute video. We incorporated seller narration where we sat down with the 80-year-old owner, because it was a husband and wife, 80-year-old, and their 45-year-old son that run this winery that produces 60,000 bottles of wine. Wow. So what was the story we wanted to tell? The story, kind of like Geico, it's so easy that a caveman can do it. The story that we wanted to tell was, hey, you don't have any experience owning a winery, but you like wine, like an 80-year-old couple can run this. You can too. That's kind of the story we wanted to tell, besides highlighting the best features of the property. And so we had both the traditional video done, and then we had a condensed 1-minute highlight video. And that's what we use on social media, because people want instant, their ADD, quick, best features, boom, boom, boom. And then if they like that, we drive them to the website with more pictures, more information, and the longer video.
Awesome. Amazing. So share with everyone, if they're watching this right now and they're like, this is the key to my 2020. Like I really want to get really clear on my own USP, develop the swagger and the confidence. Yeah. One of the things that stood out to me when we met is that you said, look, if you don't have the swagger and the confidence and you want to rent mine, I will come in and help you get the listing. So I know you don't do that for everybody, and I just announced it on a very public podcast. But if there is somebody out there and they end up being the right kind of partner, who do you look for to partner with? And then how does it work if you end up coming in and using your track record of success in the luxury market to help them win?
Yeah, so a great example. So first off, our certification called Luxury Listing Specialist, Keri, we don't have a sales requirement. In other words, if an agent has this big trophy listing or has an opportunity for one, but they've never sold a luxury home, we want them to have the tools and resources to be successful, to sell it. And so some of the other trainings out there or luxury divisions have certain sales requirements. So they're setting their agents up for failure, but that's a whole nother interview. So I helped the co-founder of EXP Realty, Brian Colhane, secure a $6.5 million listing. So I coached him up and his co-listing agent. I was available on the listing appointment via phone call in this case, but we helped him secure the listing, and we're helping him all the way till it sells. Another example is the Nashville mansion. It's on the market for $15 million in Nashville. This agent hired me to go on a listing appointment with him. I did about 80% of the talking, although I just refreshed, learned about the national market literally, on the fly. I talked about marketing and how we're going to position the home and our global network. And And ultimately, the seller didn't really have a good fit with the agent, but she liked us, and she leans on us for things. So there's a lot of different ways we can help. If an agent's interested, I can leave you my contact information,
Sure.
and reach out to us.
And how if let's imagine I was going to get a $15 million listing. That would be the most expensive listing that I've ever taken, right? And I feel pretty confident. I feel like I have a lot of swagger, but I may need some help with how to think outside the box about the marketing, or how to even get, $2 million worth of cars driving down the driveway, like some of the things you've already done. So would someone just call you and say, hey, I have this listing appointment coming up in a week and a half. Can you, and see if you can integrate that into your schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. So they would, call me, and there would be a list of questions I'm sure I'd have for them, and things that I'd want them to get me, so I can help craft the story.
Awesome.
That's really the key, is developing a story. And so once you have the story, then you put the marketing plan in place to tell that story. And so that's really, it's easy for me, but it's complicated, right? All the years of doing this, it comes fairly easy for me, but again, it's years of experience.
Absolutely.
I teach agents, don't think like a real estate agent, think like a marketer. So, replace the word I'm a listing agent. I listed this home. I'm marketing this home. I'm a marketing agent. Marketing is ongoing. Like success is a journey, not a destination. Marketing is ongoing. And a listing agent throws it on the computer and waits for somebody else to sell it.
Totally. Yes. Okay. So if somebody watching this right now says, okay, I want to get certified, I want to be a luxury listing specialist, what do they need to do?
They can just go to luxurylistingspecialist.com, find out as much as they want about our certification. It's online. Literally, 70% of agents that have our certification do it online. They get a username and password. It's self-paced, on your iPad, on your smartphone, on your computer. There's 16 modules, over 10 and a half hours of video training. And the first half of our certification is what I call before the listing. Okay, so from mindset to marketing to best practices on listing appointments, best practices in your pre-listing packages, conversion, how to convert these appointments to actual clients. The second half of our certification is really best practices once you get the signed listing agreement. Great. Before you hit live on the MLS, what are you doing to prepare the home, to highlight the best features, to get that property launch? It's kind of like the launching of a rocket. When you hit live on the MLS, you got to have all your ducks in a row. And so we teach best marketing practices in the second half of our certification. So they can go to luxurylistingspecialist.com. If they have any questions, Michael at marketingluxurygroup.com. They can shoot me an email, and be glad to help them out any way we can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. This was awesome. If you guys have questions, what's the best way for them to see your videos? Is it on a YouTube channel or?
Yeah, so our YouTube channel is under Marketing Luxury Group, and we have some of our best videos there. We transferred them, so I have one video with over 125,000 views, and on my Marketing Luxury Group, I might have 300 or 400 for that video, but we've transferred some of our best from my home selling business onto my consulting YouTube channel, which is Marketing Luxury Group.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. So good to see you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the HyperFast Show. Subscribe to us if you want to make sure you get the latest and greatest HyperFast shows. And remember, we love reviews. Reviews help us bring better and better guests and improve our shows. So give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.
Thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. Give it a quick like below and comment and share. We'd love your feedback. For more videos like this, click here. And to subscribe, click here.